Hello my dear students. So today we are going to discuss the board model questions and their answers from the first chapter Civics class 10 power sharing, right? In this chapter there are few very important topics and questions are asked from these topics frequently. Remember one thing, for 1 mark question 30 to 40 words, for 3 mark question 80 words, around 80 words, right? And for 5 mark answer 120 words. Always use blue dot pen for writing your answers. Coming to the board model questions. The first question from power sharing, which is asked and frequently asked, is ethnic composition of Belgium. Okay? Ethnic composition of Belgium is to be described, to be explained, and to be depicted also. Language may be different, but whenever it is ethnic composition, you will have to write the same things. And this answer is to be divided into 2 parts. Always remember one more point. Whenever you are answering a 3 mark question or a 5 mark question, you must write one introductory sentence. And you must write at the end concluding sentence. That makes your answer a different answer from the others. And it's the right way of answering anything, any question. So first question is ethnic composition of Belgium. It will be better if you define the term ethnic and then you write about the ethnic composition of Belgium as a nation. Then in the second paragraph, you write about the ethnic composition in the national capital, Brussels. As a conclusion, you must write as concluding sentence that the ethnic composition of Belgium at national level and ethnic composition of Belgium at the capital city Brussels level provide, reflect, indicate a very strange case, a very acute problem. This will be a very good answer to that question, right? So this way you are supposed to frame this answer. Now the second important thing which is asked from this chapter is accommodation in Belgium. Accommodation in Belgium, you can say here, is the 4 amendments, major points of amendments in the Belgian model of government, you can say. This question is asked in different ways. Okay, the first way may be the 4 points of major points or main points of amendments between 1970 and 1993 in Belgium. Maybe the language will be accommodation in Belgium, explain, power sharing system in Belgium, explain, like that. They may ask what were the major provisions of the 4 major amendments between 1970 to 1993 in Belgium. How did people of Belgium sort out their problem? So in different ways this question is asked. An answer to this question you will have to write as introduction the years between which the 4 amendments were passed. it is 1970 to 1993. 4 amendments were passed, and out of these 4 amendments, 4 major provisions were made in Belgium for power sharing. The first, the second, the third and the fourth, all 4 given in your NCERT book. Okay, it means you can say when you write these 4 points, the 4 points, you can say it may be the first point, number of Dutch and French ministers equal at national level government. Second, number of Dutch and French speaking ministers equal in the capital city of Brussels. Number 3, it was power distribution between central government and state government, or national government and different state governments in Belgium, where you will have to write if the state governments were not subordinate to the central government of Belgium. It means Belgium became a federal country, a federal structure government. Then the 4th point, you will have to explain in brief about the community governments. 3 community governments, Dutch, French and German, and their objective. 3 community governments plus what was their main objective. Why these 3 community governments were formed? And the main objective was cultural, educational and linguistic development. Right? So this is another very good question, accommodation in Belgium. Now the third question, which is very, very important question once again, is related to Sri Lanka, and that is again ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. So when ethnic composition of Sri Lanka is asked, you'll have to say what is the location of Sri Lanka, and then you will have to say what is the percentage of Singalas, what is the percentage of Tamils. Then Tamils further divided into 2 groups, Indian Tamils and Sri Lankan Tamils. Indian Tamils, this much share in population, Sri Lankan Tamils, this much share in population. Then Christians, this much share of population. Then Muslims are there. Then who is in majority, who are in minority. All these things you will have to write. Why I am not giving the exact answer, I hope all of you understand. On the top of the question papers, okay, earlier this was an instruction, but now it is understood that all the answers should be written by the students as far as practicable. I repeat, as far as practicable in their own words. Teachers are teaching for many years in the schools, and they get many books from many publishers. So they identify the language from which book it has been borrowed. So stick to NCERT and try to give your own language. I repeat, try to give your own language. It's the best way. Okay, so coming to the question again, ethnic composition in Sri Lanka. That is also going to be a very good question. So the way I said, you will have to describe this. As conclusion, if you write that Singalas were in majority and by different amendments in their constitution, they tried to establish their supremacy, they tried to enforce their will on the minority communities. That means majoritarianism. If you write that as conclusion, it will be a very good answer. It means it is going to reflect you know the topic very well. Got it? Next is related to, next question I mean to say, related to Sri Lanka again. Okay, so the question will be, what were maybe they ask write about the provisions of the Majoritarian Act of Sri Lanka 1956. I hope all of you know that Sri Lanka got independence in 1948, right? So coming to the point, 3 provisions were there as given in your NCERT book. Provision number 1 was related to language, that is Sinhala recognized as official language. Provision number 2 was related to preferential policies, or you can say advantage was given or preference was given to Sinhalas over all other communities in Sri Lanka. That's very important. Third thing was related to Buddhism. So first point related to language, second point related to job opportunities and educational opportunities, that is preference, and third was related to Buddhist religion, right? So these 3 points are to be written, 3 marks you will be getting, okay? But as conclusion here also you will have to write these 3 provisions established Sinhala supremacy in Sri Lanka. It means the same question, what are the provisions of the Majoritarian Act of 1956 in Sri Lanka, can be asked in another way also. And what can be the other way? The other way can be, how did the provisions of the Act of 1956 establish Sinhala supremacy? Or it can be asked, how was Sinhala supremacy established in Sri Lanka in 1956? Whatever way, if Sinhala supremacy and 1956 Act, any one of the 3 words coming, means these provisions you will have to write. Okay, hope you are getting that. Now coming to the next question related to this only. Now 1956 Act provided 3 provisions, established Sinhala supremacy. You got it? That's good. Now due to these 3 provisions, the Sri Lankan Tamils, they started feeling alienated in Sri Lanka, in their own country. So question can be this also. Why did the Sri Lankan Tamils start feeling alienated in Sri Lanka? Again, 3 points to be written. Which 3 points? The 3 provisions of Majoritarian Act. Then the next question can be, how did the Sri Lankan Tamils feel or react after introduction of the Majoritarian Act? Okay, so there are 3-4 points related to that. The first, or you can say this is asked in another way also. What were the results? What were the effects of the Majoritarian Act 1956 in Sri Lanka? And it's very interesting also, because these things are given just next paragraph in NCERT book. The 5 points I'm giving for you. The first one will be related that they felt feeling of alienation emerged and spread among Sri Lankan Tamils due to Majoritarian provisions, Sinhala supremacy. Second, you can give the Buddhist, means Sinhala. All Buddhists were Sinhala, Sinhalas were Buddhist. So the Sinhala Buddhist government and political parties in Sri Lanka did not notice, did not care for the benefit and upliftment of the Sri Lankan Tamils. This can be the second one. Third can be that the Sri Lankan Tamils started feeling that the constitution and the government policies of Sri Lanka, I mean Sinhala Sri Lanka, okay, denied equal rights to Sri Lankan Tamils, equal opportunities to Sri Lankan Tamils, okay, equal political rights to Sri Lankan Tamils. The next can be that the Sri Lankan Tamils started feeling discriminated in every field of life, in all the fields of life. And last, you can say, the Sri Lankan Tamils started overall feeling ignored. Whatever was happening in Sri Lanka, the objective was upliftment of the Sinhalas only. Okay, the government, the political parties, the governmental institutions, the political institutions, okay, they did not care for the Sri Lankan Tamils. So these 5 points can be written as result. Remember, this question will I think, it's my opinion, never be asked for 5 marks. So 3 points you will have to be ready with. Then the next question, which is a very famous question again and again for 3 marks only. Okay, why did the Sri Lankan Tamils launch movements and struggles and organizations and political parties in Sri Lanka? Reasons we have already discussed. But objective, why did I say? For what objectives? Okay, to achieve what? The Sri Lankan Tamils started political parties, launched movements. 3 points are there, and these 3 points are given in your NCERT book in a very, very clear-cut manner. The first is the recognition of Tamil as an official language. The Sri Lankan Tamils wanted Tamil language also to be recognized as official language, that anybody would like to do. Okay, in our country also we belong to different languages, but we want our language to be recognized by the Constitution. All of you must be knowing that total 22 languages have been enlisted in the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India, and these are called scheduled languages, including Hindi. So the main language, it's one of the main languages, Tamil, one of the main languages in Sri Lanka, and this was to be included as a scheduled language, and it was a very important thing. So first, Tamil was to be recognized as official language. Second, regional autonomy. Regional autonomy to whom? To the areas where Sri Lankan Tamils are in majority. North coastal areas in Sri Lanka, eastern coastal areas in Sri Lanka, then southeastern coastal areas in Sri Lanka, then southwest, a very small strip near Colombo, Jaffna, Batticaloa, Trincomalee, all these areas are, having majority of Sri Lankan Tamils. So this region was to be given regional autonomy. Means this region will be ruled by Sri Lankan Tamils. That was the main thing. Third thing was equality of opportunity was to be increased in the field of education and in the field of job. Because education and job, if these two fields Sri Lankan Tamils are advancing, it means their living standard is going high and they are also in position to contribute in the development of their economy. That's important. So for these 3 purposes, you have to be very careful. It's very small points given in your book, but very important question, right? And as conclusion, you can write here, the Sri Lankan Tamils started organizing themselves as a very powerful organization that was called LTTE. For these 3 objectives, they formed LTTE, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Elam. Okay, the leader was Prabhakaran, and Prabhakaran was a very powerful person. Okay, during Prabhakaran's period, the LTT in Sri Lanka had become very, very strong, right? But after the death of Prabhakaran, I suppose the LTT movement got almost over. Okay, you can say the Sinhala supremacy is still there and they are still dominating over there. Now coming to the next very important topic and very important question from this chapter, the 2 categories of power sharing, prudential and moral. Okay, in examinations, what I have observed, sometimes they ask 3 prudential reasons, sometimes they ask 3 moral reasons. Okay, so I am giving you 3 prudential and 3 moral. But what is prudential and what is moral? Whenever this question is asked, write 3 prudential reasons, 3 moral reasons. Okay, you will have to go, first you will have to define what is prudential, then write 3 prudential reasons of power sharing in democracy. Prudential means the reasons which are based on prudence or on careful calculation of gains and losses. When you do something, how much you are getting. When you don't do something, how much you are getting. Okay? On the basis of this, do or don't do, what you get, what you lose. Okay? In both ways. After doing what you get, what you lose. After not doing what you get, what you are losing. Then decide whether to do it or not. This is prudential. So, on the basis of prudential, means careful calculation of gains and losses, there are three reasons of power sharing. Means three prudential reasons of power sharing. First point will be, it helps to reduce the possibility of conflict between social groups. It's given in your NCERT book. Second, to ensure the stability of political order. And third, to check the tyranny of majority on minority. These 3 points. But remember, whenever you are writing these points, write in a complete grammatical sentence to avoid deduction of marks. Because incomplete sentence means your sense is not complete. What you want to say is not complete, is not clear. Okay. Then moral. Moral reasons are based on, discipline. Moral reasons are based on morality, ethical values. Okay. 3 moral reasons of power sharing. It is the very spirit of life. People have the right to be consulted on how they are to be governed. And number 3, it promotes legitimate government. What is legitimate government then? I have already explained in my previous video what is legitimate government. But for you, I say any type of government where the citizens have a stake. Where citizens have a stake to decide those things by participating in political activities. They participate, and through participation, okay, they take part in politics or administration system of their government. Like in our country, we as citizens participate in election, we exercise our universal adult franchise, we cast our vote, we elect our government, we control our government through our representatives in the parliament, and finally we change our government next time if it deserves like that. So, the 3 prudential and 3 moral reasons of power sharing. The last important question, and this question is always asked for as a whole. Whenever it is asked for 5 marks, right? The question is, explain the forms of power sharing in modern democracies of the world, or what are the different ways of power sharing in modern democracies of the world. When we are describing this answer, you must know there are 4 categories of power sharing in modern democracies of the world. Okay? Then these 4 points, if you are explaining in brief, you are getting 1 point each, means 4 marks. Then 1 mark for what? This 1 mark for definition of power sharing. So first you define power sharing, and then you say these are the 4 types of power sharing popular among different modern democracies of the world. The first, horizontal power sharing, means power sharing among different organs of the government. Then describe this, but you must write 1 sentence in this. This is also called horizontal power sharing or power sharing among different organs of the government. System of checks and balances. Second point, you will have to explain power sharing among different levels of government, right? At the top, national level, then state level, and then local self-government. From 1947, we got independence. 1950 our constitution was implemented. 1952 first general elections were held, right? So from 1952 first general election to 1992 73rd amendment in the constitution, there were only 2 levels of government in India, national and state level. In 1992, 73rd amendment, local self-government system was introduced. In the rural areas, it was called Panchayati Raj. In the urban areas, it was called municipal or municipal corporation, municipality. So, power sharing among different levels of government is called vertical power sharing. So, this will be your second point. Third point, you will have to explain power sharing among different social groups. Here you will have to give two examples. First example will be of Belgium. How people of Belgium, different population groups in Belgium, social groups in Belgium shared power. I hope you remember that community governments in Belgium. I hope you remember that. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yes, you are right. So this way it goes, and in India you can say, yes, in India, yes. In India you can say reservation policy. Seats are reserved in the Lok Sabha, Raj Sabha, Vidhan Sabha. Even at local self-government, 33% seats are reserved for women. This is what? This is called power sharing among different social groups. So this point you will have to explain. Then you will have to explain the fourth point, power sharing among different political parties, pressure groups and movement groups. So very interesting. When no single party gets majority in our Lok Sabha, then two or more than two political parties make a group. What do we call that group? Yes, alliance. That group is called alliance, right? And some three famous alliances are very popular in India. You are right. NDA, National Democratic Alliance, led by BJP, that's right. And second alliance popular is, yes, UPA, United Progressive Alliance, led by Indian National Congress or Congress Party. Right? Okay, that's good. And third alliance is, yes, no. Okay, third alliance is the left front, all red flag. You know, it is CPI, CPM, Forward Bloc, all these parties, Communist Party, Socialist Party, whatever you say. So, when two or more than two political parties make an alliance and then they prove majority and come to power, then this is called coalition government. In a coalition government, there are more than one political party, means two or more than two political parties, and from every party ministers are there. It means the government is of all the parties in the coalition, in the alliance. So this is called coalition. This is also power sharing among different political parties. Then those political parties which are in power, or the alliance which is in power, they include their student union leader, women union leader, workers union leader, peasants union leader, teachers union leader, farmers union leader, traders union leader, as members in different bodies, different government institutions, organizations, different bodies. That is also power sharing among different, pressure groups. Interest group and pressure groups, they are not recognized by Election Commission of India. And moreover, they don't have any election symbol. They are not recognized, so they will not be having election symbol. They do not participate in elections directly, but they affect, they influence the decision making of the government. They influence the policies of the government. They may appreciate when the government is doing good. They may criticize when the government is doing wrong. So, interest groups and pressure groups like Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, All India Trade Union Congress. Okay, these are what? These are pressure groups. Then different movement groups are there. You must have heard about Anna Hazare's movement, Narmada Bachao movement. Different movements are there. Bhudan movement, it was by Acharya Vinoba Bhave. So these movement groups are there. Now the leaders of these movement groups, who are very, very intelligent people, and they really think of the nation and the people of the nation, they are also given place in different institutions of the government for better and smooth, governance. Okay, so these are the different forms of, power sharing in our country, and, total all the questions we discussed from this chapter, and you will have to know the definition of some of the terms like ethnic, majoritarian, civil war, prudential, okay, these type of things, and these are given in your NCERT book, and we have discussed in previous videos also. My dear children, one thing I would like to say here, you need practice. Anybody needs practice. You do something, whatever big or small you do, you need practice. If you don't practice, you will lose. The more practice you do, more better you do or perform in exams. Okay, always use blue dot pen, and remember, when you are writing something, you are revising 3 times. When you are reading something, you are just revising once. You are recalling, you are delivering. But when you are writing, suppose I am writing something, suppose I am writing the Majoritarian Act was passed in 1956 in Sri Lanka. Suppose I have to write this. First, I will have to recall. This is first revision. Second, I am writing. This is second revision. Third, when I am writing, I am reading also. Yes, I am writing, I am reading also. So this is third revision. So my dear children, revision, that also by writing, is going to help you a lot. A lot, I say. In any subject. In any subject. So make it a habit. Make it a habit. Always revise things by writing. And whatever you study, in a week, you revise once. Make a weekly revision plan. And don't write the full answer. Write in bullets. Because what I have told you to write the answers in your own words. Okay? If you depend for crossing the road always by holding your father's or mother's, this small finger, you will be doing this for the whole life. Always remember, try to be independent, think independent, and write your answer in your own way. I understand you have limitations, but try to follow that. I know you all are good, you all have talent, you all can do well. Thing is required, honest practice. Okay? Whatever you study, that is your weapon, which is going to help you in the battle of your life for, your whole life. Thank you very much. So we discussed today about the important board model questions from the chapter Power Sharing. We are coming with our next video in the next week, just a week ahead, and that video will be having very good discussion and you can say explanation of teaching, rather you can say. I try my best to give you a classroom feeling. I want you to feel you are sitting in your classroom and you are talking to your teacher. I want to make you feel that. Because if you feel that, you also start, going in that direction. You start thinking in that direction. My objective is to help you in the best possible way to score better in your final exams. I don't care for this, test and periodicals, you are writing at different platforms. Think of your final target. Plan and execute that plan. So, we are coming next week with some fresh, videos. I think Nationalism in Europe, first chapter in history. You will enjoy those videos, I promise. Okay? And remember one thing. You listen, but while listening or watching these videos, you be ready with paper, pencil, your NCERT book, maybe. If not, no problem. You at least be ready with paper, pen, so that you can write the things. You can note down the important things. Okay? Thank you very much. Enjoy your life. Be safe at home and wait for our next video. Thank you very much. Thank you all.